casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought.
It's very important that we understand that Jesus and God did not have any allegiance to any creed, right? That God was not founded on any organization, right? But that he taught a way of life. And that's important because, you know, when we think about the church and then we think about sections and sects of different versions of Christianity and really religion in general, we're constantly faced with the truth that everyone tries to section off a portion of God and then try to create exclusivity towards that, right? And that's what got me on the topic of the Black Hebrew Israelites, right? The truth of the Black Hebrew Israelites is that they believe that, you know, that there should be exclusivity towards the true Israelites. Now, things that I do believe are very interesting is that, one, it's outlawed in Israel to get blood tests, you know, so the bloodline thing seems to have a little bit of some truth to it, right? Also, two, that, you know, there are DNA tests that are being done on certain people, particular people, and those people are descendants of, you know, the true Hebrew Israelites or the family, you know, they have the Y chromosome or whatever the hell that makes them, you know, priests, right? So, despite all of that, even if that's true, there's still a very important thing is that God is not about race. Okay, God is not about race, right? You know, God is about a constant varying beliefs, right? One is that most of these people have to, you know, exclude God from everyone else, right, in order to hold a biological superiority over the claim of God, right? That they are the only ones who can be the saviors of the true world. Second of all, is that, you know, we keep shrinking God into these tribal containers, but we also have to understand that the way that people lived in the Bible thousands of years ago is not a complete, you know, synchronicity with the way that we are living right now, right? There's homologous, right, representations, right, that there's similar patterns but distinctions between that. But we have to understand that literally Israel was a Near Eastern region. What does that mean? We also have to keep in mind that there's things like migration, there's things like conversion, there's literally all of these things. Then we have to remember Ruth of Moabite, Rahab from Jericho. These are people in the Bible who are mixed, who are literally included into the nature of Israel over time, thousands of years. What are we talking about when we're talking about the true nature of the bloodline, right? We have to the identity, right, that exists between them and the true nature of ancient Israel. But like I was saying, we are not talking about, we haven't talked about intermarriage. We haven't talked about where people go when they get exiled. And we haven't talked about the fucking diaspora that's literally spreading across Israel, Babylon, Egypt, North Africa, and Europe. Which means if we take all that and then you literally talk about, and listen, let me not even start to talk about racial slavery, the literal intermixing of cultures, which means, motherfucker, you got some white in you. So you mad at all these other people talking about, oh, they're the devil, they're the demons, they enslaved us. First of all, these motherfuckers want to talk about they enslaved us, and then they want to own and use that as a righteous form of a righteous a rite of passage, right? They want to use it as a rite of passage to be like, well, racial slavery is fucked up and you caused that, but also God told us that we was going to go through that. So, you know, we really the true ones. And I see thousands of people in the world talking about, oh, black people are the true Israelites, but you have to understand, what does it mean to be black? If the nature of mixed relations still counts as being black, right? If we're talking about slavery, we're talking about white men literally having sex with black women. We're talking about black men having sex with white women. We're talking about fucking African Americans. We're not talking about fucking Africans. When you go to Africa as a nigga, as an American, they fucking hate you. Why is that? Because the culture is different, right? Niggas want to go over there and talk about that's anti-black. No, it's not. Nigga, it's not the same culture, not the same language, not the same tribe, not the same fucking symbols. So the covenant expands past the bloodline. That's the truth. No matter what, even if their history is being erased, even if in 1492, you know, they went to go commission, or 18, whatever year it was, they commissioned, you know, what's the name, a white person or whoever the fuck, to you know, to draw the Passover, and the Passover is in all the churches, and the white Jesus in the churches. That can be true. That does not mean that the covenant does not expand past the bloodline. That does not mean that.
I want to give all the praises and the honor.
Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahawah, Ba'ashem, YAHAWASHI, Ba'ashem, Rakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to my Akim, Wathim, who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this foul captivity, as well as a speckled bird that may look like the other nations, but are actually Yasharallah. This is Brother Kawakab coming at you with another lesson. Now, I want to preface this by saying apologies if I forget to make any specific points, because I'm doing this all off memory, but I'm doing this all off memory, but I do have references in all of the precepts I had laid out for myself to remember each and everything that he did, so I should be able to get through all of his points. So bear with me. All right. Now the thing here, this guy, he said a lot, and he one of the things I want to say is that he basically just said reference points that we already say. We already make mention of some of the things that he said, like, for example, the diaspora. Like, and it's crazy to me that he thinks that is a talking point that defeats our argument, when we already addressed that by saying that. Let's actually start off with that then. In Numbers chapter 1 verse 18, and they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upwards, by their polls. So the thing here is that we already say, all right, on the regular, that you are what your father is. Like, and what exactly does that mean? That basically means, like, for example, if I get married to a white woman, all right, and my kid comes out looking like Blake Griffin, I keep on going back to Blake Griffin, okay? Or we don't even need to say me. We can just literally say Blake Griffin and his family. His father is dark skinned. I'm not going to get a picture. You can go Google it yourself. And Steph Curry too. You can see their fathers, all right? And then lo and behold, how their fathers are dark skinned, then they have their light skinned asses, all right? So this is just proof. Are we really gonna say, well, actually, that's the funny thing about it. That's the funny thing about it. You people don't really understand that. How things are is that appearance does not matter. So someone can look like, I already use examples. So some examples are Blake Griffin. You know, he looks like a so-called white person. His skin is light, but he is still an Israelite, not because of his appearance, all right, but because his father, not because of his father's appearance, but because their bloodline goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which is that of a so-called black man, and that is how ethnicity works. Ethnicity is not any physical character traits, which that's actually one of the biggest things that, you know, get these Christians and many more people twisted up, where they keep on attaching our beliefs onto, it's appearance. You have to look like a so-called black person, you have to have dark skin, this, that, and a third. How is that the case when we say that the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are with the Hispanics looking white as hell? All right, so as a result of that, it goes to show that no, it is not about appearance. It is about your blood. Your blood identifies who you are, not your appearance. Again, all right, this is the hardest and the biggest issue that we have to that people just cannot get over. All right, they are so fixated on saying, oh, it's only about black, or you have to be a black skin, or black people can't do this, or it's whatever. All right, all that stuff, that's not how it goes. That's not what the Lord put in place. But yet you have people that keep on going to that association rather than actually listening or actually knowing what we say. Because what we've been saying, a lot of us, I'm not going to say all, because there are definitely some Negro only, or what's it called, or black only, or whatever. There are definitely that, but it's like it gets to a point where how is it that you're only, and that's definitely not, it's definitely not, because I'm pretty sure IUIC, I think I could be wrong, but I think IUIC is one of the biggest Israelite groups, and I don't even think that they say you have to be black and stuff like that. I highly doubt it. I don't know, because I don't keep up with them, but that's the thing. You know, people, they continue to push that narrative on us. All right. Anyway, continuing on. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 11, and for this cause Yahawadah shall send them strong illusion that they should believe a lie. And the lie here is that the lie is so many things that it's honestly ridiculous. It gets ridiculous. It gets to a point of it being of ridiculousness that we have to constantly point out all these things rather than the truth just being so clear and simple. All right, like it should be simple. It should be simple. It should be obvious. But yet, especially when we address this so many times, and this is not just me. This is many different brothers. All right, I've seen the brothers make the lessons on it as well. All right. Hell, as a matter of fact, I think even right in this video, the brother actually clears that up as well. So, like, yes, a lot of times we do make these corrections, but again, like, you know, not everyone. Obviously, everyone doesn't want to hear and stuff like that. They don't actually care about any of the more specific details and stuff like that. Anyway, continuing on. Isaiah chapter 5 verse 23, which justify the wicked for reward and take away the righteousness of the righteous from him. And this is the thing where I remember that he was speaking about, where he is always Slakia. It's basically this Jake. All right, he's okay that Esau basically had us in slavery. He just wants to completely ignore that and dismiss that happened. He does not care about YAHAWASHI sending righteous judgment onto Esau for what he did. And the thing is that Esau, he himself, if he was qualified, I think that's the best term to use. If he was qualified for any type of mercy, any type of salvation, all right, why doesn't he do anything to fix the stuff to fix the mess that he made? Even when it comes to the stuff that we do, when we make a mistake, what do? We repent. Well, especially with Yahawadah, with a perfect example with Yahawadah, when we go off, we repent, and then we return to Yahawadah. We right the wrongs. We acknowledge, okay, I sinned, I did this, I did whatever, and then you go say, Yahawadah, I sinned, I messed up. Can you please, help me, forgive me? And then I want to take the steps to not do that again. That's what we're supposed to do. But yet, Esau gets completely ignore that. He does not need to do that. So it's just like, how is it that you have all these standards, all these expectations for us, but when it comes to any kind of expectations for Esau, Edom, they're gone. Like, there's no expectations. He's fine. I mean, we need to be perfect. We need to be exemplary people and whatnot. But when it comes to Esau, Edom, oh no, he's he can get away with it. Oh, it's fine. Oh, he's perfect. He can do whatever he want. All right, like that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense how you're going to put all these rules and restrictions on us, but not for him. So Slakia. Continuing on. Basically, again, this Jake and many others, and even more to come, are always justifying Esau rather than putting him on the same pedestal of, okay, well, because that's the thing, Slakia. If you really did believe that Esau had an opportunity to salvation, then why is it that Esau as a whole, they don't have any responsibilities towards righting the wrongs that they did? Where did they right their wrongs? Okay, it's nowhere to be found. Now, continuing on, let's go to the next one. Proverbs 24 verse 23. These things also belong to the wise. It is not good to have respect of persons in judgment. And this is exactly what is going on right here, where this person and more, they have respect of persons. They don't care that Esau did all the things. He put his foot on our necks. He raped, robbed, and murdered us. They don't care about that. They're willing to let bygones be bygones. Oh, I'm going to forgive because that's what the Bible said. No. All right. As a matter of fact, no, let me I will gradually get to that. Let's stay on the thing. But yes, they have respected persons. All right. Now, continuing on. Matthew 15 verse 24. But he answered and said, I am not sent unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. YAHAWASHI is not. Okay. Let's correct. Let me set the record straight. YAHAWASHI is not a liar. So you cannot say you can. This is the important things, the important stuff of this. YAHAWASHI cannot be made to be a liar. So as a result of that, when he makes this statement, he is telling you, he's saying to her and to the reader, whatever. All right, exactly what is going on and exactly his purpose. All right, so YAHAWASHI is in fact only sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So only sent to the Israelites. All right, it doesn't get clearer than that. But now, I guess you could say that in terms of skin color, yeah, he's not just for the one skin color, but he is just for one ethnicity, one race, which is the Israelites, and by extension that means like the diaspora as well. The diaspora are also included in that, which it could be like, for example, the Blake Griffin, Steph Curry, and stuff like that, which it extends not just to so-called white people, but it also extends to so-called Chinese people, so-called Indians, Arabians, and all that stuff, where that is what determines if you are an Israelite or not. If your father's bloodline goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, then that is what makes you an Israelite, not your appearance. So you have people that don't really seem to understand or acknowledge that our appearance, all right, is not the identifier. So let's say, for example, and I always go to this because I don't want to use the white thing, But for example, if I went and lived in China, I got married to a Chinese woman, all right, and I had a kid with her, I had a son with her, that kid looks darker than me, lighter, or slightly not darker, lighter than me, darker than my Chinese hypothetical wife, all right, then that kid, gets with another Chinese woman, and then he has a kid with that other completely different Chinese woman, all right, and then the kid gets lighter and lighter and lighter as the generation goes on. There's more and more kids. It's from my patrilineal side, all right. Then simply because that descendant looks like a so-called Chinese person, okay, despite constantly mixing with, and not mixing, but getting with these so-called Chinese women, all right, that doesn't make that kid Chinese. He's not Chinese. He's Chinese by nationality, but not by ethnicity. By ethnicity, he's still what I am, which is an Israelite. That's basically how that works, and that goes and extends. Where again, we're not saying that anyone can be saved. It's you still have to be an Israelite to be saved. Now, but the thing that's important is understanding that the thing to remember is that you can look like a so-called white person, a so-called Chinese person, so-called Indian, whatever, but that is not what determines your ethnicity. If your ethnicity on your father's side, which actually, didn't I already read that? Yes, I already read that. Numbers chapter 1, verse 18. So there are going to be Israelites that look like so-called Chinese, Indian, Egyptians, white, and so on and so forth. All right, just same way that there are Edomites that look like so-called Jake. An example of that is Tiffany Haddish and Tracy Ellis Ross. All right, perfect examples. So as a result of that, again, like, this is to show what is going on, and the fact of the matter where all skin folk ain't kinfolk. All right, now where was I? Okay. All right, so over here, another one. Luke chapter 12, verse 51. Suppose ye that I am come to send peace, to give peace on. Luke 12:51. Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth. Nay, I tell you. Luke 12, verse 51. I'm going to read slower now. Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth. I tell you, nay, but rather division. YAHAWASHI came for division. He did not come here to sing Kumbaya and have everyone come together. All right. And that's the thing that's the constant thing that Christians always preach about, right? Without any proper understanding that, and pushing that ideology, as if that was Yahawashi, when it clearly was not. All right, and Yahawashi said that. All right, he said that. We see, and we see that right here. It doesn't get any clearer than that. Now, John 17:9. I pray for them. I pray not for the world, for them which thou hast given me, for they are thine. Okay, so Yahawashi, he did not come to pray. He did not come to pray for the world. He did not pray for the world. All right, you're saying, Yahawashi would pray for people. He would do this, that, and the third, whatever, stuff like that. Saying all this different stuff when clearly that's not the case. All right, he didn't. So he doesn't. All right, it's very plain. It's very clear. All right. Slakia. It's very plain, it's very clear that he is not for everyone. So why are we pushing that narrative on? Why are we pushing that narrative on us? All right. Ezra chapter 4 verse 3. But Zerubbabel and Jeshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel said unto them, Ye have nothing to do with us to build an house unto our power, but we ourselves together will build unto the Lord power of Israel, as King Cyrus the king of Persia hath commanded us. So the thing here is that there was these Israelites that were doing something. What was it called? They were building for YAHAWAH, and they basically said, we're not. There's a context over here. Verse 1. Now when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity builded the temple unto the Lord power of Israel, then they came to Zerubbabel and the chief of the fathers and said unto them, let us build with you, for we seek your power as ye do, and we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Esarhaddon, king of Asher, which brought us up hither. But Zerubbabel and Jeshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel said unto them, ye have nothing to do with us to build an house unto our power, but we ourselves together will build unto the Lord power of Israel, as King Cyrus the king of Persia hath commanded us. So basically the thing here is that you have these heathens, these Gentiles, these heathens that came and said all this stuff of, we want to build with you, we want to serve your God as well, and they rejected them. They said, no, like, this is not for you, get lost. So no, there was no, what's the word, cohabitation of Israelites. Well, I mean, in terms of cohabitation, in terms of living together, yes, there was, obviously, but in terms of joint serving YAHAWAH, that was never the thing, and they even rejected that. So that's not the case. That's not the case in terms of oh yeah, that was actually one of the points that he was talking about, where he was trying to say that Ruth and stuff like that, where Ruth and I forgot who else it was, they had converted and stuff like that. When it comes to stuff like that, it does not, the scriptures does not say, what's the word I'm looking for? The scriptures do not say, I'm trying my best to watch the exact wording, but the scripture does not say that they get salvation, basically. All right, so just because Ruth was there, or definitely Ruth married an Israelite man, that does not mean, oh, Ruth got salvation and all that stuff. No, because let's actually get that. John 4 verse 22, ye worship ye know not what, we know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. And it's very clear what we see, that yes, salvation is for the Israelites. All right, Israelites and not others. So if Ruth is not what's it called, an Israelite, how and honestly, I don't even know. I'm not saying this as if this is definitive. I'm just saying that I've heard that people say that Ruth is actually diaspora, which I don't know. I don't know. I think maybe there's definitely a possibility, because again, this Israel is as a sand of the sea, so it's not out of the realm of possibility, but still, I just don't know. All right, it doesn't always. Sometimes it's not always like black and white and stuff like that. Just I'm not saying that it is, and nor am I using that as some sort of talking point. I'm just saying that that's what I've heard, sometimes, and YAHAWASHI, he knows best and stuff like that. All right, 2 Thessalonians chapter 1 verse 6, seeing that it is a righteous thing with Yahweh to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you. And this completely cuts one of the things that the Jake was saying. He was saying that, oh, just because something bad happened to you, does that mean that you're supposed to wish bad onto them and stuff like that? Yes, that's what exactly the scripture literally says. That, okay, it says, again, I'll read it again, 2 Thessalonians 1 verse 6, seeing that it is a righteous thing with Yahweh to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you. If someone does evil to you, it is a righteous thing for YAHAWASHI to bring judgment back onto them for what they've done to you. All right, if the Lord loves you, that's the thing. If the Lord loves you, then of course the Lord's gonna want to say you did something wrong, and that's another thing. It's always back to the, oh, I forgive. I want Esau to be exempt from any and all hardships or trials and tribulations, stuff like that. He can just he can just step on me. He can just do pause, but he can just do whatever he wants and stuff like that. Like I forgive him. He's the greatest thing ever. Like that's the mindset of these people, rather than actually acknowledging that what Esau did is wrong and he needs to pay for that. All right. Now, oh yeah. So Romans. Oh yeah. This was I remembered this. It was There's two different precepts I want to get to, and y'all just remember the two talking points. But Romans chapter 9, verse. Let's just start verse 3. For I could wish that myself were accursed from Hamashiach, for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, already establishing that it's according to the flesh, bloodline Israelites. Verse 4, who are Israelites, to whom pertain the adoption and the glory and the covenants and the giving of the law and the service of Yahweh and the promises. Okay, and again, this is all through the flesh. Now the second, and this was in terms of addressing the whole Israelites. We are Israelites, not from anything besides the flesh. All right. Now, and there is another part of it, but I'm not going to go into that. So. Okay, what? Let's go into it then, and then I'll get the other thing that I was gonna get. So over here, verse 24. Even us, whom he hath called, not of the Jews only, but also of the Gentiles, as he saith also in OC, I will call them my people, which were not my people, and her beloved, which was not beloved. And the thing here, let's just jump to Hosea 1. And let's just get to the point. Verse 9. Then said Yahweh, call his name Lo-Ami, for ye are not my people, and I will not be your power. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living power. So these are Israelite bloodline Israelites that are being disowned by YAHAWAH, and it said, and the Lord said that this is the prophecy that down the line in the future, I will through this prophecy, I will call you guys. You guys are going to be called not my people. You guys are going to be called heathens, Gentiles, whatever. But down the line, I'm going to make you guys once again my people. So these are there's our bloodline Israelites through the bloodline of an Israelite man, obviously, and then they were disowned, so they were called Gentiles, they were called heathens, they were called whatever. That's not an Israelite. They were not being identified as Israelites. So then Yahawadah reclaims these bloodline Israelites. They were fleshly bloodline Israelites. All right. So the Lord reclaims them, and then they are once again being called Israelites. So this is a part of that, and in terms of the whole bloodline thing. All right. So yes, the Lord is still talking about bloodline Israelites. Now, the next thing I want to get, let me try to find it and remember which precept it was. Okay, so here. Let's start verse 18. Therefore hath he mercy on whom he will have mercy, and whom he hardeneth. Thou wilt say then unto me, why doest ye yet find fault? For who hath resisted his will? Basically saying, wait, why is it my fault? Because holy shit, that was loud as fuck. All right, Slakia. As I was saying, let's just start over because I don't remember where I was reading at. Verse 18. Therefore hath he had mercy on whom he will have mercy, and whom he hardeneth. Thou wilt say then unto me, why doeth he yet find fault? For who hath resisted his will? Which thing here, this basically shows that YAHAWASHI, he picks and chooses whom he'll have mercy on, who will be exempt for certain things, not necessarily exempt, but whom he will decide. Well, actually, yes, exempt is a good term, as well as just who in general gets what. All right, and you basically can understand that, Yahawadah. I hope I explained that well enough. Continuing on, verse 20. Nay, but O man, who art thou that replies against Yahweh? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus? All right, and the thing here is that, we can't reply against Yahawadah. If Yahawadah made us a certain way, that's basically that's basically it. That's the end of it. Where, the Lord decided, okay, I'm gonna make you this way. There's nothing else to it besides. Okay, well, this is established that you're gonna be this way, and there's nothing else. There's nothing that you can do, there's nothing that you can do it. Okay. Verse 21, hath not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor? And this is the thing that people just forget and are not and don't want to be conscious of, which is like, for example, let's say a toilet, you making a toilet and you making a trophy. The toilet is made for a disgusting, filthy use. And if the toilet was sentient, could speak, you think it's gonna say, I do not. You think it's gonna say, oh, I love being used for your fecal matter. All right. Obviously, like the fact of the matter is that that's a dishonorable use. That's a dishonorable use, but yet it's a use nonetheless. The Lord decides what everyone's purpose are, and that's what the Lord decided for Esau to be the way that he is. And there's no, especially for Jake is always fucking speaking out against Yahawadah, saying a whole bunch of bullshit to try to justify him, even though Esau did all that shit to us. So with that, I pray that this was edifying. I'm going to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and shalom to Slakia. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, shalom to mighty Akim, who are diligently waiting to be delivered from his final captivity. Shalom, Slakia.